Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So today I wanted to try and answer a lot of questions that I've been getting, and the question that I'm always asked, what is your favourite pen, or more to the point, what is your favourite Visconti? And that is almost impossible to answer on so many levels because each pen is different. The material's different, the weight is different, the size is different, how the pen writes or the nib width is different. So no two pens would ever be the same. I have pens that I like for varying reasons. So I thought about this long and hard for a very long time, and I thought, well, I currently have around 60 Viscontis at the time of recording this video. Surely there must be 10, or at least 10, maybe 20, but I thought I would go with 10 for the purpose of this video of the Viscontis I like the most. It's not the same reason for every single Visconti, it's a different reason for a lot of them because each pen is unique and each pen is different. So I hope this goes some way to show you what I feel is my favourite Visconti. Now, I have to sort of say that this is my favourite Visconti. Now, your favourite Visconti will probably vary and differ in many forms. So, left to right here, we have the Visconti Medici Il Magnifico. I'm going to try and give you a reason why I like each of these pens, and probably a lot of the reasons are going to be very similar, if not the same. But for this pen, I love it, and this maybe is a little bit more unique to the other reasons. I love it because it's a sterling silver pen, AG925. It has this aged kind of look here on the cap. And it has this engraving done, and I really do like this. I love the weight, the heft to it. I like that the Visconti have coupled it with marble, and it's a red or sort of maroon burgundy type marble with lots of veins going through it. I like the size and I like the weight of it. So for me, this nib didn't come writing perfectly out of the box. It wrote a little dry. I've improved the wetness on this since. I do love this pen, but it is a heavy pen at 70 grams. Almost to the point where I can't do a long writing session just with this one pen. Like normally if I write to pen pals, I'll write one page in one ink, one page in another ink with different pens. So that for me is fine. It is a heavy pen for sure, but this actually holds a special area in my heart, in my place for my favourite Visconti pen. The other one is one that I've seen for so long and I've wanted, and this is the Visconti Speakeasy. This is a love-hate relationship, and I knew this before buying it. I'd actually talked myself out of buying it. And the reason is, I'll show you, it's a marker of a pen. It's really very fat in terms of diameter. It's heavy, but not as heavy as, say, the Medici Il Magnifico. But when I say it's a love-hate relationship, I'll show you why. Because that's basically all of the ink it can hold. And the reason why is that basically I'll show you, and I've shown you on the Speakeasy review, but I'll show you here again as I have the pen here and you're watching this. If I just put the cap back on again, actually, I don't want to stab myself with the nib or have ink flick out everywhere. So if I unscrew the blind cap here, you'll find that there's another cap, and if I unscrew that, it has around 6 millilitres capacity there for alcohol, because obviously Speakeasy, American Prohibition, it's to symbolise that. So it's a lovely pen, and I love this material, and I'll show you the material a little bit more closer up. The reason why I love this so much, you can see here the reds and blues in this, and it just like glistens. You see it there. It's stunning material. So I like it for the material more than anything. I just wish it had a bigger filling system in. Now there is another version that has the power pack filler, but it has the it was at St. Basil in Russia. They have the St. Basil as a silver overlay cast into the body. So although I'd love this to have the power pack filler and get the St. Basil, I would prefer it to not have that on the barrel and have it plain like this. So that's why I say it's a love-hate relationship with this pen. I do love the pen. I love how it writes. It's a very wet medium nib, but I just wish it had more ink capacity. That's the only thing. That's the only downside to it. Now there's this pen which whenever I first set eyes on this, I absolutely adored and loved, and I still do to this very day. I've only had this for probably 3 months, I think, since recording this video. But it's a Mackie pen with 6 layers of lacquer on top. It's an ebonite pen and body, and it really is nice. And I'll show you here. If I zoom in, you'll see the Ra symbol here, which is etched in gold. But it is a stunning pen. I love this pen because of the size, the weight. It's a Powervax. It has a decent ink capacity, and it has a medium nib that is very wet. So it's a good writer for me out of the box. Actually, I do love it. And so that's really one of my favourite Viscontis. Now, my first Visconti, which is still my most favourite and adored one, is the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. And this is always inked up. There, I think, have only been 2 times in 2 years where this has not been inked up, and it's only been for about a week at a time, or even less. And so this is always inked up. It came with a fine nib that I normally don't care for fine nibs. It was a nice bouncy, springy fine nib. Wrote beautifully, but more recently I switched it out for a bouncy stub, and I love that stub even more. But this is, I guess this holds a place in my heart because it's my first Visconti I ever owned. It's what set me down this Grail pen route, but more to the point, it's these swirls in the body that I really do love. So that for me is the reasons why I love that pen. Now the next 3 are purely more so because of looks. We have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Corsani 90. Now that came with a medium nib. It had, although it was a medium nib, it had a bit of baby's bottom on it, which is unusual for a medium nib, but it was a lovely writer. So I have since swapped it out for a 1.3mm stub, which is a bouncy stub, and I love that stub. So I do love writing with that, and I do love the stacked celluloid. So that was my first entry into the stacked celluloid. I also, just before getting the next one, I got this one, which was the Visconti Wall Street as a present, and this is again stacked celluloid. It's a lovely pen. This came with a 1.3mm stub. It's not inked at the moment. I've uninked it because I've been trying to reduce the amount of pens I have inked up. But you can see there, look at those tines, the tip of the tines. That is a really, it's a wet writer. I really do like this, but I haven't got it inked up at the moment. I will be re-inking that very shortly. And then shortly after that, within about, I think, a month, if not less actually, they came in around about the same time. I got the Octagonal, which is another one from Silograph Corsani, and I'm really glad I picked this up when I did. It's a stacked celluloid, and again, I really do like it. I decided to go for a broad on this one, and it's a very crisp broad, so I have to be a little bit careful. I tend to roll my nib when I write. I tend to roll it to the right more, and when I do it to the right more, it tends to skip a little bit. So I'm thinking of, I like how crisp this is, and I like the line variation I'm getting from it, but I'm thinking of just rounding that off a little bit and just making it a little bit less crisp, because it's almost like a crisp metallic. And then there are a few other pens here, and this is the lovely Visconti Ducali Palazzo di Sassuolo is the full name, and you can understand why I had to pause there, because I wasn't quite sure which part went where in the name. But this is a lovely pen. It's got the original Visconti kill clip on it. I know some people say they don't like that clip. I do love it. It's got this Visconti, what they call yellow dawn material. Look at that material there. It's just stunning. But the best thing is it actually has the palace engraved onto the body there, as well as having some of these swirls coming in. So this for me is a beautiful pen. It's a power vac filler, and I just love it. And so this is always inked up with a orange ink. At the moment I have Sailor Gentle Kinmakusai in there at the moment. And it's getting quite low, as you can see here, about up to here on the barrel. So I think sort of the barrel, it's probably got about 20% left in it, if that. So that again is one of my special Viscontis, and another one, and this is inked up with an orange ink. This is inked up with Pelican Edelstein Mandarin, I believe. I tend to go between that and Pilot of Washizuku Yuyaki in this pen. This is a medium pen. It's a lovely, stunning pen. I kind of would like to get a gold version of this, but it came with a medium nib. I do like it. It's a good everyday writer, and typically I tend to have this inked up with orange ink. I've really not put anything else in there, any other colour. I probably should try it at some point. I've seen people put blue ink in there, and it looks interesting, but not my, I guess, cup of tea. And then there's this Visconti Camelot, and this is an amazing pen. So you have this sword as a clip, and if I zoom in here, you'll see here you have this lovely inscription on the gold band. And look at the chainmail here. The level of detail on that chainmail is amazing. So this for me is really one of these like Grail of Grail pens. So this is one of my favourites. It's a power vac filler, which again is actually quite surprising. The body seems to be, or at least if I compare here the chainmail, like it's identical, but it looks as though it's shorter. But this has a medium nib, but it's a nice nib. So I do love this pen. It's a very wet writer for a medium, and so it does burn through ink very quickly. But I do love it, and again, it's one of my favourite Viscontis. So that's 10 Viscontis there. Now, there are other Viscontis I have in my collection that are, I'd say, equally my favourites. They're probably Viscontis that I wouldn't sell. I will show you those on another video at some point. For the time being, this is my 10 favourite Viscontis. Now, obviously, over time, that is going to change, but for the time being, this is what I would say are my favourite pens. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.